Oh, welcome back to World Cultures. This is day 9, and we are going to be talking about Asia this week. Now, Asia is humongous. It's the largest continent in the world. It is home to more than half of the people in the world. And as you can expect, there's some very interesting things going on over there. It's kind of the center of a lot of things happening in the world right now. There are 48 countries, 4.6 billion people, split into 6 different regions. You have Northern Asia, Eastern Asia, Southeast Asia, Southern Asia, Western Asia, and Central Asia. Complex continent. You've got some of these countries that also are part of Europe, so that makes a difference. You also have the Middle East, which is also considered Western Asia, and it's not completely connected to Asia because of some canals and the seas, the Black Sea. The Southeast Asia is mainly islands, and has more in common with Oceania than they do with the rest of Asia. So there's some differences there. I keep pushing the button and it's not working. Northern Asia, very large. The only country is Russia, 146 million people. I think it's actually 150 something million people now. Once head of the USSR, still is the largest country on the planet. It is 3 times the size of the United States. Has 35 official languages and 100 smaller languages. Very many different ethnic groups. They ended up taking over a large part of the world and converting it from capitalism to communism. And some of those countries are still dealing with that impact today. Hence the war in Ukraine, as well as situations in Poland and Hungary and Czech, Finland, and so forth. Relationships with most of the Western world since the end of World War II, and not really getting any better. Eastern Asia, the largest country is China. It also includes Mongolia, Taiwan, Macau, North and South Korea, and Japan. Macau used to be part of Portugal, used to be controlled by Portugal. Hong Kong used to be controlled by Britain. Both of those countries have now returned to China. And they're causing some problems because those people are used to more democratic governments and so forth. Macau also is the Las Vegas of China. It's the gambling capital of China. If you've seen, I'm trying to remember which James Bond movie it was. Skyfall. There's some scenes in there in the Macau gambling dens. Japan is one of the economic powers of East Asia and the world. So is China. China has passed Japan as the number 2 economic power in the world, and is well on its way to passing the United States as the number 1 economic power in the world. Here you see some pagodas in a pagoda in Japan and the Great Wall. That kind of looks like the Baling section, but I'm not sure because several of them are very similar, but it does look very similar to where I went there. I need to put together a slideshow with some pictures of that I have from China. But I have a lot of my things here. If you were ever to come into my classroom, I'd be happy to share with you some of the things I brought back from China. North Korea is way behind because of its dictatorship and the way that it's been run, and it's a little bit of a mess. Just a lot of a mess, but that's besides the point. Southeast Asia has 11 countries. Myanmar, which used to be Burma, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, and East Timor. Very, very diverse area. A lot of different ethnic groups, a lot of different religions, a lot of different cultural backgrounds and so forth. It's how to say, one of the most culturally diverse areas of the world. Even within Indonesia itself, which is one country, it's over 15,000 islands or 30,000 islands or something like that. It's an insane number of islands, but they try to bring that culture together, and there's a lot of diversity. For Indonesia, a lot of them share similar religious beliefs, but definitely not all. Southern Asia, you've got Pakistan, Bangladesh, Iran, Afghanistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and the Maldives, and of course, India. India is now the most populous country in the world. It just passed China. So they have approximately 1.4 billion people, and China has approximately 1.38 billion people. All are declining in population because everybody's declining in population with the exceptions of the African countries. Because of its rapid growth, South Asia is becoming more and more important in the world. A lot of technology, a lot of factories, a lot of consumer help, customer help is coming out of India these days. A lot of different diversity, a lot of different ethnic groups, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different languages. And because of its location between the rest of Asia and Europe, this part of the world has always been very important in terms of trade. And so they have been dealing with different peoples from different areas of the world for thousands of years. So they're kind of more open to some other ways, I guess you'd say. There's still a lot of argument going on between Pakistan and India over the border, though. Granted, there's some argument between India and China about their border, too, but mainly between Pakistan and India. Both of these countries have nuclear bombs. They're nuclear capable. And for many, many years, it was believed that if there was a new World War III was going to start, it was going to start here. But it's looking more and more like that's going to be in Ukraine. Western Asia will be the area that we consider the Middle East. This is Turkey, Cyprus, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Palestine, and Syria. This area has a lot of the same background and similarities. They share a lot of the same cultural traditions. They do not all share the same religion, although many of them do. Most of these are Islamic countries, but not all. Colonialism from Europe and the fall of the Ottoman Empire after the end of World War I really defined some of these countries and how they currently deal with outsiders and their cultures and so forth. Even how they deal with themselves. You know, there's more infighting in Iraq and Iran than there is with them fighting other people. And you have Central Asia. Most of Central Asia used to belong to the Soviet Union. You had Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. Now, what those stans means is that that's the land of those people. So the Pakistan means it's the land of the Pakis. The Afghanistan means it's the land of the Afghans. Turkmenistan's the lands of the Turkmen. Tajikistan's the land of the Tajikis. The Kyrgyzstan, the land of the Kyrgyz, and so forth. It's definitely a lot of trade through here. The Silk Road ran through here. Mainly Slavic majority countries. We talked about the Slavs a little bit in Europe, but these countries are still controlled, see air quotes, or hear the air quotes, even though if you can't see them, controlled by Russia. Russia very definitely, oh my gosh, my words are just failing me big time today. But Russia influences everything that happens in these countries. Okay? UN, the United Nations, remember the good maintenance of international peace and security, does this by working to prevent conflict, helping parties in conflict make peace, peacekeeping, and creating nation conditions to allow peace to hold and flourish. And they are still there. 11 countries, Asian countries, are in the UN. And remember, there are 48 Asian countries, so there's a lot that are not.